For the players.
What?
I'm good. Let's go.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games media component. I want to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to join in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Discord, Instagram, and Twitter are working properly. Facebook's still hit and miss. Twitter is probably the best way.
Twitter is the best. We spend so much more time on Twitter. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can by telling your friends, telling your family about this PlayStation podcast. If you are listening on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists, where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. Now, Max, I must have spilled some tuna mornay on myself because I can fucking smell it, and it's because tuna is such an obvious smell, and seeing as I probably didn't breathe when I ate my tuna mornay because I fucking love it so much, I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm sure it like fucking sprayed everywhere like Cookie Monster, and it's just for the next like week it'll just be random tuna mornay smells throughout my house as I find it in like my crevices of me and the couch and just my house.
Did that this afternoon. I had leftover spicy beef vindaloo for lunch. Then after eating it, I burped and my throat's just like burning again. I'm like,
Yeah, like that. Look, it's not always bad when it comes back, but it depends on the dish. Not every dish is good the second time around.
Some dishes are better the second time around.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I say that, but like, what? Which ones?
Well, I find like, well, it depends on the context of
okay. Yeah, put you on the fucking spot now, huh?
I find that leftover spaghetti bolognese is better the second time.
I meant on the burp, but like leftovers, yeah, something's way better as leftovers. Because we were talking about burps a second ago. I'm like, yeah, what food tastes good as a burp? Not much.
I don't know. I just had spearmint ice cream with peanut M&Ms, and that tasted pretty good on the way back up too. But enough about that.
Why would you eat spearmint? No, we can't just fucking move past this. Why don't you just go eat toothpaste, you fucking weirdo?
It is the best ice cream flavor ever. Spearmint choc chip is the greatest of all kind. It's the goat of ice creams.
Nah, bro. I say that not having an answer. Actually, no, I lie. The best ice cream I ever had, and you can't even buy it because fucked if I know where. Look, it's one of those things where I'm not even confident that I actually had it, and it's not just one of those Mandela effects.
Look, just before I make you lose your train of thought, I want to thank the Mullet Show for saying spearmint rocks, but I don't know if I can trust his judgment because apparently Spider-Man Combat is anus. So I don't know. I don't know if he's helping my cause here.
Yeah, who knows? He does. He has demonstrated his poor taste. But no, from the best ice cream I ever had, and I've never been able to find it since because I'm not even sure whether it existed. I'm pretty sure it was Sara Lee. They released a sticky date pudding flavored ice cream, and I fucking love sticky date pudding. So having it come in like a container, so because I normally have ice cream with my sticky date pudding, it's just mushed together into one thing. Oh my god! Welcome to Further Recipes. We just talk about food that we like. not even remotely about PlayStation. How's your week been, Max?
Not too bad. I don't remember much of this week, actually. I haven't really done anything too exciting. Oh, actually, you know what I did this weekend? I played Fall Guys in real life.
Oh, shit. What?
So I took my kid to Inflatable World yesterday.
Yeah, what's Inflatable World?
Well, so it's a basically inflated jumping castles and obstacle courses and...
All right.
So we went there because I was originally going to take her to the indoor trampolining place out on the highway.
Bounce. That's where I got COVID.
But we went there, and they're like, we're really sorry, but we're booked out for a private function all afternoon. So I had a screaming kid in the back seat going, Dad, you said we're going to do something awesome. So I'm like, Inflatable World over in like East Geelong. I'm like, we'll go over there. We'll do that. It fucking sucked. There was so many kids. There was like 5 birthday parties there. And Hadley is like 2 and a bit. She's 3 at the end of the year. She's really small. Yeah. And all these kids are big and they're just running past her, and one kid knocked her over and I wanted to punch him in the face, but like I'm an adult and he was a kid. It wasn't really his fault.
This happened to me the other week. So it was just some kid being mean to James, my son, at a birthday. And I sassed the fuck out of that kid. I shouldn't have, because the kid didn't pick up what I was putting down, but I was just giving them absolute grief. I was almost essentially, I'm like, you amount to nothing. Your parents don't love you. You're a piece of shit. I hope you fucking die. This kid's like 6, and I'm tearing them a new asshole, and they're like, yeah, but like, because it just goes right off them because they're 6.
I can't wait for someone to clip that out of context.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I abused a small child. They were mean to my son.
So Hadley and I were doing the obstacle course together because she was too small to actually like literally climb over any of the obstacles. I was literally just picking her up and throwing her over. Then I was clambering over afterwards, and there's kids just running past us, and I'm getting down and rolling under things, and it's intense. It's a young man's game. Unfortunately,
I might have to take James because he's recently got into Fall Guys, and Father's Day's next weekend, so I have him on the Sunday. And
yeah, so I was gonna dress. I'd do some housekeeping before we get in the show. Do you want to record Friday night next week?
Yeah, okay.
Being Father's Day on Sunday, I assume both of us are going to be pretty busy.
Yeah, I'm busy on the day, and I got wrestling on the Saturday. So
yeah, Friday it is. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, we'll have to go because it'll be fun for me just to get sweaty and probably get COVID again. But James will love it. Like throwing him like his.
Oh yeah, he'll have a blast. The only thing is they say don't do flips, but like they don't police that too much.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, well, I think
one of them. So they've got like 8 separate like little enclosures set up. So one of them's just a climbing wall, and then you fall down onto the jumping castle. Yeah. One's got like 3 basketball rings. You go dunk some stuff, and there's just one with like some obstacles and a slide. There's one where you wear a bungee cord and you run up and try and dunk the ball at the other side, so you get whiplashed back into the jumping castle. It's pretty fun. It'll be fun for a kid James's age, but for someone Hadley's age and size, it wasn't that great for her. She would have had way more fun at the trampoline place.
Oh, I was going to say, would you want to go again? But if we go, because I think that'd be fun. We'll go be dads.
Yeah, no. It's Hadley was very overwhelmed.
Well, what if
because there wasn't much we could do solo, which was a shame.
Yeah. Well, only because like I know your kid, my kid are friends, so I think that'd be a bit fun. But yeah, anything else other than we've got real sidetracked by like being parents for a second there. What else are you up to this week?
Not much. Yeah, actually, really bugger all. Like bugger all. I did nothing today. I spent an hour and a half cleaning up my bird cage.
Nice.
Found a lizard in my house last night.
Like how big? I
was a tiny little gecko. He was just chilling out in the bathtub.
Oh, that's cool.
Don't know how the hell he got in there, but whatever.
Curl power to him. He
rescued him and threw him out in the garden.
Lovely.
He didn't want to pay rent, so fuck him. He's gone.
What a prick.
Freeloader. Yeah. What about you? How's your week?
My week's been interesting. I've had a pretty shit brain week for one.
Oh yeah.
That's been a bit of dumpster, but I won't burden you all with my bullshit. Other than that, no, my week's been same as everything else. Just repeat and having my brain hurt, and then just keep going on through. But yesterday, time of recording, so Saturday, I did have a wrestling show. We had a Dream DMDU's death match a tournament. So it was 13 competitors. I think it was like 7 matches. All death matches, and then crowning the death match champion. So the tournament winner as well as the death match champion, which was Joel Bateman, who is now Joel Beltman, because he's currently carrying 3 of those fuckers. It was awesome. There were there was one where the rules were you just had to use cans. So as long as it had cans on it, it was a legal weapon. So there was like a baseball bat with cans strapped around it, cut in half, so they're all pointy. Then there was a chain like with cans hanging off it. There was a door with cans on it. There was glass with cans. Yeah, they just kind of got crazy with it. Then there was a 2 out of 3 fuckery boards match where it was just 4 different doors with random shit on it, and the first person to go through 2 loses. Then there was just a bunch of. There was just one was entirely glass tubes, the light tubes, UV tubes. That was a mess. That was a lot to clean up. And then the main event, which was a 20 years of carnage. So to pay homage to one of the most renowned and biggest deathmatch deathmatch matches to ever happen in Australia, 20 years ago between Mad Dog and. I want to say Lobo, but it might be Lobo. It's not. It's fucking Snooker. Not Snooker. What's his name? I don't remember his name. But either way, it was the idea was that we're going to pay homage to this massive match. So they replaced the ropes with barbed wire. They put light tubes on it. They had 2 buckets above the ring that at a certain time would flip and just unload tacks into the match. There was a glass of paint that was set on fire, and then someone was put through it. That's how I spent my Saturday. That shit entertains me. Max will never get enjoyment out of it until one day I get him to go to the show, and I think you should. The next one's in Geelong, just saying, in September. I will front you the ticket. You can go sit with.
Maybe that's what should have been the the Max doesn't finish his backlog, so he has to come to the wrestling one night.
Oh yeah, that would get you like.
We're now at the end of fucking August, and I still haven't finished Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I haven't even touched Red Dead in months. Yeah, you're like, hey,
at least you finished one of 3 of your backlog.
I'm going to come out a winner.
I'm sitting 0-3 so far because I keep trying to play.
You owe me a slab, a sixer, and a single can, and I owe you a slab and a single can currently.
So, yeah, something like that.
We'll just balance it out and we just both come out neutral except I get a 6-pack or something. Yeah. But yeah, I imagine that would be a pretty good deal. Like, hey, you have to go to the wrestling if you do, and suddenly you just play nothing but Valhalla.
It's the motivation I needed to get through my backlog.
But other than that, it's just being usual work, doing what I do, and coming home and repeating. But yeah, one thing I have done this week is I actually sit down and played some games. Now, once again, we'll talk like we'll preface it from last week, preface it to this week, only so you all can know to keep an eye out. Both Max and I have been playing The Last of Us Part 1. That's the remake that comes out very soon on PS5. Still can't talk about it right now. However, keep an eye on the YouTubes, on your podcast services. We will have some shit ready to go when that embargo drops. Get excited. But yeah, that will happen when it happens. Other than that, this week, I finally rolled credits on Cult of the Lamb, and it's since been corrected in a patch. But that game is mighty fucked post beating all the fires.
There's been 3 patches over the last 3 days for Cult.
It was really bad there. Like I still argue this game is incredible, and it will still make like my highest of the list this year. However, that post game experience was bad. As in, anytime I would try to go run a sermon or do a ritual, it would just freeze. And it would just, everyone would be there moving, getting ready to start the ritual. And then like a minute later, everyone's still getting ready, but nothing's happening. It would hard lock sometimes. There was when I took out the last bishop, but not the final boss. Somehow all the loot just went outside of the play area, so I couldn't get it. So I couldn't actually like get out of the encounter unless luckily I had the escape so I could bounce out. Yeah, just a couple little weird glitches. And another thing, like whenever you would go into your little chapel, only 7 followers would come in. Now that fucker's full. And I think pretty much everyone comes in.
I think I complained about that because I had a follower quest to be like, hey, sacrifice this person. Yeah. And that person would never fucking go into the chapel. I was like, dude, are you serious?
So it looks like that's been circumvented. So since playing, the freezes have stopped. Like I'm not having those freezes mid-run. The chapel's a lot better. More people are coming, etc. So, buddy in the chat goes, I've got one more tarot card to unlock for the plat. I'm running for the plat because fuck it, why not, right? I have got everything, but there are 2 bishops that I need to beat without taking damage, and that is way harder than it should be for me, who's incredibly incompetent. So I've got the first 2, so the one out of Darkwood, which I did by absolute accident. That was Leshy. I got that trophy the first time I ran it, and I didn't even realize. I went back to run it again, and I got it without damage, and the trophy didn't pop, forgetting that I could have just looked at the list and realized I already had it. But I got the second one this afternoon, just before I came into to record the show. That one was a bit of a prick. But yeah, so now the next one is the one in Anchor Deep, which just throws so many projectiles all the time. I don't know how I'm going to get through it unless I just happen to get a really hard-hitting weapon and just pound that fucker in the face pretty quickly. But yeah, I've put, I don't know, over 20 hours in this game already, which, as I talked about last week, which I think last week when I recorded, I said 18, but I was barely like 15 hours deep at that point. Like, I managed to get the roll credits in less than 100 days in the game as well. Not that that really means anything because there's no trophy or unlock, whatever. But I enjoyed that. Yes, I'm now like, oh shit, I'd be like, 23, 24 hours or something now. Like, I put a lot more time in it than I have with any previous games. Yeah, and I've got, just got the 2 bosses to beat without taking damage. I've got 1 more follower skin to get. And that one is requiring me to find a very specific encounter throughout a run. So I'm kind of trying to do 2 birds with 1 stone. If I don't find it in the run, I'll tackle the boss. All right, nah, not success. Go do the run again, tackle the boss. If I can't find it, repeat. And that's kind of been nuts. Especially someone that doesn't like replaying the same shit over and over again. There's something about this game that's just absolutely grabbing me. Have you gone back to it at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't played too many games this week.
Yeah.
I
do have other games I've talked about, but I was curious about Cult of the Lamb.
No, I haven't jumped back into Cult of the Lamb yet.
Because one of the other
games... Now that I think it's patched out and everything's kind of stable, that now I might jump back in. Yeah,
and there's also DLC now. You can buy, like, for $10 or whatever it is, I think it's $10.45. There's a bunch more skins. So if you're someone that wants to play post-game and have more skins or whatever, sweet. Sorry, buddy, if that encounter is buying the follower one, mine glitched. No, mine is not that one. I've got to go and there's a snail. Got to kick the shit out of his wife or something, and then that's what gives it to. I've got to then fight him, and then I get it. But there's one we've got to buy a tarot card off a cat, and that's the last one for the tarot card. But I did get that one because I got that one post-patch. The other game that I've been playing is Rollerdrome. Now we should mention his last week. Oh, so we should also mention that, thanks to the team over at Power Up PR and Devolve Digital for providing us the code for Cult of the Lamb. Thank you to the team, the dev team for Private Vision and Aperna for Rollerdrome. Rollerdrome's not very good. I like it.
I told you it wasn't a U game.
No, not at all. See, the problem that I have with it is, like, I understand the mechanics, I get what it's trying to do, but there is so much empty space that it feels really hard to string combos together, and it looks better than I expected. I can remember when I originally pooped on them, I didn't really like the cell shaded approach. And look, it looks better than I expected. That I can't argue, but from the gameplay for me, it's not landing. I'm not enjoying it. Like, it doesn't feel fluid. Like, it feels fluid, but like the trick part, which I guess is what I'm focusing on, because for me it feels very Tony Hawk, but a really subpar Tony Hawk. I'm trying to do particular tricks or trying to do a flip to make sure I get the most, and it's not feeling it. You were absolutely bang on about it being not a Betson game. You couldn't have been more correct. Yeah, and it is very similar to that of every other Roll7 game. Is that, like, there's a story in there, but the story is kind of secondary to the gameplay. So if you're a real gameplay focused person, I imagine you might enjoy this more if the gameplay happens to kick with you, which for me it didn't. But yeah, there's no story to, like, I can trudge through shitty gameplay if the story is entertaining. and it's not doing that for me at all. And yeah, it's not landing at all. Buddy in the chat jumps in and says Rollerdrome is fire. That was a fun but hard plat with really good accessibility options. I have heard that. So friend showed the team over at DualSense Podcast over the US, another PlayStation podcast. They were discussing about how they had difficulty with the game from a motion sickness, in that something about the camera being too close, and they just like wanted to fucking hurl. They got like the VR sweats, you know when you get the motion sickness a little bit too much. If they were just playing the game standard, like I haven't had someone that gets quite easily motion sick didn't have that problem, but yeah, no, that game very much isn't for me. Have you gone back to Trome?
Yeah, I've knocked out another level or two. I haven't played too much of it. Again, I'm still enjoying it. I go in and kind of knock out a few of the objectives each time I play a level. But yeah, I do have to agree with you. In certain levels, there is a lot of empty space, and it does take quite an effort to try and land those fluid combos from one side to the other.
Or at least what like feels frozen, haven't I?
So the level that I'm on at the moment, for instance, is actually 3 rooftops. I've gone back to it. It's one of the earlier levels. But it's 3 rooftops, and you're at like essentially like a ski lodge.
Okay.
And you jump from rooftop to rooftop to hit all the enemies around. It's very, it can be very hit and miss, depending on how the enemies spawn in and line up as to what your essential like combo section is going to be.
Yeah, especially when the combo, at least from from me playing it's the read that I got. Pardon me, was that the flow or the combo isn't the tricks, it's the killing the enemies, right? So I think that's the part that I'm focusing on the tricks, because to me, a good combo in this style of game should be about you stringing tricks together while taking out people. If I wanted to, I'd just fucking skate around and take out the enemies. Like, apart from reloading, what's the incentive to do the roller part? Or am I could be reading the game wrong too. Because, history has shown moron. So, like, I don't know whether I'm reading the game incorrectly. Not sure. But other than that, I played a bit more Rock Band this week as well, just because I can, and I have been enjoying it. I've been doing this thing. So I've been getting up for work. I've had this real bad problem with getting up for work. No. No, I'm just kind of like, I might snooze the alarm and I get up a little bit later, and then I find myself sort of rushing to get to work on time. So what I've been doing, just to try to get some better momentum and to sort of get my day going, is I'll get up when my alarm goes off, as I should, but if rewarding myself for getting up at the appropriate time, I actually play games before I go to work. So like I'll go into, I'll get up, do my shower, do whatever I got to get ready for the breakfast, get breakfast, this, that, the other, and I go, oh, sick. Well, I've got 20 minutes now. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do a couple of runs of Cult of the Lamb. Maybe I'll play a couple of songs on Rock Band. And just sort of like, start the day on a fucking chill. Saying that, though, like
before you get to work and there's just an absolute fucking shitstorm of crap.
Well, that's the idea. The idea is baseline myself and not feel frantic. So when I get to work, that if I do happen to, as part of a job of being a senior manager, is that there is a bunch of shit that I have to deal with on the daily. So knowing that if I go, if I zen myself in, I'm gonna be in a better space. Saying that, there was a good time when I was trying to get the bishops for Cold and Lamb. Going to work just made me angrier. And then I was playing Guitar Hero, Rock Band 4, and I was like, I want to try 100% this song for no reason. That just made my day start fucking shittier again. Because it'd be like, for some reason, there's this one particular sequence, and every time a couple of times I'd get through it, but almost every time it's the exact same note, which tells me my brain, when I listen to that song, registers a different note that the game doesn't pick up, or I mishear. Like maybe there's a reverb on it or something. So I'm like, and I go to strum a second time, and there's no note. I'm like, fuck. That was annoying me because it's a song that I listen to quite often. It's "I'm Not Okay" by Machine Gun Kelly with Youngblood and Burt McCracken from The Used. So it's a good, fun, simple-ish pop punk. But it's like that opening, like what the fuck am I telling you? You have no idea. You've never heard this song before in your life. But in there's an opening acoustic section.
Actually, have fucking
yeah. And because it's like a multi-strum intro. Like it's not just one string, whatever. So, and I think I'm kind of hearing one that isn't there. But it's kind of the problem. Other than that, I don't think so. Have you been playing anything on the game still?
I've literally only really played Destiny this week because the new season started.
Oh yeah,
So,
you hit me up the other day. You're like, look, mate, expect nothing but Destiny talk for the next couple of weeks because I'm excited for it.
We're out with Season of the Hunted and we're in with Season of Plunder. So we've got
a pirate themed, eh?
We're fucking space pirates, dude. We fight. It's so good. So
this is your moment.
Okay.
Gush about fucking Destiny for a hot minute.
So I'm going to skip to a bit of the news story. I threw it in the quick bits because I knew I was going to talk about it throughout the show. Earlier this week, Bungie had their big showcase to show off Lightfall, their next big expansion, coming out February of next year. They announced that we're going to Neptune. They're like, there was a fucking secret society there all along that no one knew anything about. They announced that we're getting.
So there wasn't a secret society hidden in Uranus? It was on Neptune? Disappointed.
We've got a new darkness power called Strand.
Oh!
Strand's the new big thing.
Kojima collaboration? It's a Strand game now?
I'm a hunter main, and I get a fucking kunai with chains as my new super. I'm super, like a rope dart. I'm super stoked.
That's mad.
And they're like, hey, to incentivize people to check out this new thing, everyone gets grappling hooks to traverse the world in. And I'm like, this is going to break a lot of the old encounters. And they're like, yep, we don't care. You can grapple onto anything. You can grapple into nothingness, and it will just anchor onto something. It'll be fine. I'm like, I cannot wait to do this.
But I kind of love the idea that this is going to break everything. They go, yeah.
Yeah. They also announced that they're no longer sunsetting old expansions.
Yeah, so my understanding, for those that may not be aware, one of the things that Destiny would do is like any raids or anything that weren't getting the love previously, they would kind of put them to the side and like take them away. Otherwise, your game file could be like fucking 1700.
Yeah, my understanding was their engine couldn't handle so much shit inside their game, so they would like, okay, we're like 5 expansions deep now, we're going to drop off the last one.
So no one's running these raids. Why keep them around? Yeah,
which is a real shame because some of them are really cool. But that's no longer happening, which is awesome. And then obviously they're like, hey, I think they upgraded their engine. Apparently, that's what they said. They're like, we've been doing back end work. We can do this now. And then obviously they're like, hey, the new season kicks off, and we're doing Season of the Plunder. So you essentially get your own pirate crew. You go in, the new seasonal activity is you literally board another pirate ship and you go fuck their shit up and you steal all their treasure and you do treasure maps. And
yes, that's pretty cool.
I'm in. The new raid dropped. The new raid dropped yesterday. It's the old King's Fall raid from Destiny 1.
Oh, of course.
So it was like the most mechanically heavy raid that they ever did, and they added more to it. Apparently, it's really buggy at the moment, which is a real shame. They had a lot of shit break when new content comes out. Funnily enough, so all heavy grenade launchers in the game have been banned because instead of getting a 15% damage increase, it was 150%. And that's a fucking big whoops.
Yeah. Well, Reverend Puck in the chat, one of our regular viewers, one of our personal favorite viewers. Look, I'm totally biased, but they come each and every week and they're amazing. They mentioned that they cleared the raid already. So have they bet you?
Oh yeah, I don't jump in on the first weekend.
Now,
I have no patience. I don't have a group of 6 to play with, and I have no patience to play with random people on the internet.
Now, I remember you saying, I may be misremembering. I remember you saying that there was a championship belt on the line.
Oh yeah, there is. The people who won the world's first for this raid race has won the last 3. They got 3 fucking championship belts for getting world's first on the raid. So the way it works is you have to finish the raid twice.
Yeah.
And the second time is in contest mode where there's essentially like secret objectives for every single encounter in the raid. Okay. And if you don't do the specific task, it wipes the whole raid and you have to start again. So it's very interesting to see the players do this.
So Puck,
I haven't watched a run through yet, but it looked intense.
So Puck in the chat says every raid has a championship belt. Now, are we talking a literal
like
belt?
an actual
Like,
literal belt?
Like they will send it to you, or is it an in-game belt?
No, it's a literal belt.
Oh well, suddenly
My
I
understanding
think I
is
said this when
literal
you
belt.
told me. I'm like, suddenly I'm more invested in Destiny, but there's no way I'd ever get one. Not happening. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But what? Look, we'll back in what we've been playing, with what I think, like, for some reason, this week, I've been feeling the itch to play Fortnite. Now, mind you, I've never actually played it.
Are you one of those people? Okay, so over the course of this week, because the Fortnite Dragon Ball Z crossover came in, turns out everyone younger than us are dumb and can't pronounce the Kamehameha properly. It's irksome, and young people are the worst.
Well, that's understandable. Like, you know, if they've never heard it, they're not aware of it, it's fine. Like, in the same way that I'm pretty sure I pronounced Hermione and Sirius Black wrong the entire time I read the book. It wasn't until someone said it to me and I went, oh, okay. It's one of those things, you know, like, and that's fine.
There you go. Puck's put in the chat a link to the title belt.
Ooh, I'm gonna click
Ryan's viewing pleasure.
But so for me, the reason, oh my god, it is literal belt. That's
it's a fucking literal belt.
And look, it's okay. So it's interesting belt. It's on a black leather with a gold plates with a blue trimmings. Now, understandably, because this is there's not a lot of these being made or anything. But it's a relatively simple belt. It's all like flat paddled. There's no embossing. There's no layered on it. So it is a relatively simple belt by Wrestling Championship belt lines. But yeah, look, it's pretty fucking cool.
At least these don't change hands. Once you've won these bastards, you don't have to give them up.
That's true. Yeah, and it's, you know, it's not.
No one can take your title of world's first.
It's true. It's not predetermined. It's not gonna change. But yeah, cool. But I don't know the reason I don't know why, because I've always pooped on Fortnite. Always.
It's the new Destiny skins in Fortnite that's making you want to jump in, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. It's the idea of the no build mode. If I'm being honest, I know that's been around for a little while.
No build's good.
And because one of the things I hated about Fortnite when I did go back to it, there was that one time, and I was like, oh, because it was just people building, and I was like, fuck this noise. But if I can play Fortnite, and because look, there has to be something to it, right? There has to be. Like, I've not really spent time with it, and like I played a lot of PUBG, and I enjoyed PUBG. But there's got to be something to Fortnite for it to live this long, and it can't just be because of the characters that you like. It's impossible, right? There's got to be some sound mechanics to it. So, do I do it just for a try?
I mean, it's free.
Yeah,
it sort of costs you anything to suss it out.
It's true,
except for like real estate space on your hard drive.
Yeah, unless like those PlayStation skins come available, and it's like, you want to buy Kratos? I'm like, yes, I do.
They pop up every once in a while.
Yeah, the Horizon I wouldn't mind picking up. You know. The Aloy, that'd be pretty cute. But yeah, the idea of just
I'm very proud of myself.
Awesome.
I didn't buy any Dragon Ball Z skins.
How hard was it to hold that in?
It was pretty hard.
Yeah, nice. All right.
It was for the best.
I'm pretty sure that's everything that we've played. We've touched all those bits. Yeah. Let's get to the section we call Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
Well, let's kick things off with a news article that I forgot to add in.
Yeah, the whole name of the episode, Max.
Everyone who owns a PS5, except people in the US, have got an ROI.
Yeah,
a return on investment for your PlayStation 5. They are going up in price. Here in Australia, they're going up $50. PlayStation essentially put out a statement saying we're aware that, you know, everyone's in financial struggles because of the inflation, so to help out, extra $50 for PlayStation 5s now.
All right,
yeah. Shortly after, Microsoft came out and said we're not raising the prices on our consoles, and then Nintendo also joined them today saying, for the moment, we don't see a need to increase the price of the Switch console. So, Ryan,
Yeah.
Are you glad that you bought your PlayStation so early so you didn't have to spend an extra
You
50?
and I bought ours day one. There is no way we would have ever considered that they were going to go up in price. Like, I think Oculus just did the same thing as well. They bumped up the price of their headset.
Like $100. Yeah.
So, like, it's one of those weird things where, like, you think about it logistically. Yeah, it makes total sense, right? You know, things are harder to make than they ever have been before. Fucking inflation alone is kicking everyone's asshole in.
Yep.
But Sony profited like $4 billion in the last financial year. I don't think they're taking that much of a hit. Like that's take home profit, by the way. That's not total earnings. That's profit. So like, well, what if we just didn't up the price and we lose a little bit of profit, but you know, we keep the customer base happy. Therefore, they're more likely to buy a PS5 when it becomes available. That sounds like a solid idea. They didn't do that.
Another article that I just realized that I didn't put in here. Sony are currently getting sued in the UK, a big class action lawsuit, for their 30% cut from anything on the PlayStation Store. Which I believe is ridiculous because everyone has that.
Yeah.
Microsoft have a 30% cut. I think Epic's is 12. Steam's is 30.
Apple's 30. That was the whole point of that Apple Epic debate. Microsoft's 30, Nintendo's 30, PlayStation's 30.
In the UK, there's apparently a class action lawsuit going on at the moment about PlayStation essentially ripping people off by charging that 30%.
Yeah, look, it's a private
fee.
storefront. And it's one of those. It's difficult, and I think the whole point around that is the monopolization. Like, if you want digital copies of the game, it's the only place to buy it. Yeah, but you can still buy it physically in theory, right? The only people that have digital versions of the game, and that's a bit shit. But like, yeah, I understand. I can see the sprinkle of why that would be potentially a thing. However, and like, unless there's like but because it's 30%. But if the conversation is if it's a fixed dollar value, so say we calculate the games to be $100 Australian, so you're going to get $70, I get 30, deal. And if they go, and then suddenly the price becomes more, the games are now $130, and they're like, yeah, but our original deal says that you would get 70, and we get the rest, so that's 50 for us now. That would be reasonable for a class action. But if that percentage is scalable and it's $130, they still get, you know. I
mean, I don't know if they're basing it on the fact that now that they have a SKU of consoles that's digital only, it kind of forces them to be able to make their purchases through that. But regardless, it kind of seems a little bit.
Yeah, like it'll be one of those things.
Every other storefront is charging essentially the same amount. Epic's the only one who's kind of gone above and beyond and lowered their share value.
Yeah, look, you could sue anyone for anything, really. But whether it comes together or not, it's a very different circumstance. Like, I imagine this, we start at $5 billion, end up at like, I don't know, $8,000 or something. Because like, this is the figure that they're asking for, and they'll go, no. Which one of those things. But in terms of the cost of the console going up, it's fucking weird. It really is. I think it's a little bit. It's a horrible fucking PR move, and it is a incredibly bad business strategy. In that, like, I understand that companies are all about profit, but when you're hitting the billions of dollars, you can take some hits. Now, understandable. This is on the information from memory that the PS5 was actually being made at a profit. And now, I guess, they're breaking even, I guess. Like, it's $50 is a substantial kick. So, say they were, if they were only making $30 profit per console, by bumping it to 50, okay. Because the idea, it's quite an exponential thing. So so say if you're making a console and it's $30 in the negative. Like, every console you make, you lose $30. You make 2, that's 60. You make 3, you're now $90 down. You make 4, that's $120 down. And then you extrapolate that into millions, you are suddenly just chewing through money. But if they weren't making a profit, if they were making a profit, and they still are, well, it's a very fucking different conversation. That's just greed. But
it's interesting that it's everywhere but the US.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know why that is.
everyone's getting hit by inflation at the moment.
Look, it's
but
because
they're
the
not
US is a third
increasing
world
in the US.
country, and hitting them with this right now would be pretty gnarly. Like, you know, yeah. There's theories. I've read theories about it because because America is essentially PlayStation's base operations right now, and because most of press, media, etc. Are from the US. Like, if they don't get the hit, they won't cover it. They'll go, okay. Because, like, really, in the scope of the world's entertainment, media, creation and consumption, who gives a fuck what Australians have to say, really? So that's your skill up. But he well deserves it. But yeah, like, and this is the thing. So we'll discuss about this before we start recording. It seems as if, like, availability is getting better and better. So, like, getting a PS5 seems more accessible than ever. Like, I know pre-orders are still selling out like hotcakes for EB Games and JB Hi-Fi here in Australia. But, like, I guess the backlog of pre-orders is cleared up. Like, no one's waiting on their pre-order at the moment. It's just
They are popping up more often too.
Yeah, we're getting more, and the turnaround's like a month. We compare it was like 6 months or whatever. Where now it's like, hey, if you pre-order, it'll probably come next month, and it does. And it, you know, but the problem is there's no wait list anymore like there once was. Yeah, and I said all my friends that were seeking one now have one. But that's interesting. And Buddy jumps in and confirms the US is Microsoft's strongest region. That's true. And if they're suddenly concerned about optics, etc., and when it comes to competition, having them bump up the price in their market in the base market of their strongest competitor, that would be bad. But if they looked at all these other regions and they're the market leader by a substantial amount, well, they can probably take a hit. But I don't know. It's a price hike and somewhat scarcity of the product still doesn't look good at all. At all. But yeah, and as the thing that made me chuckle, and I think you mentioned it, was like, hey, the Sony statement is like, hey, look, everything's getting more expensive, everything's getting really tough, and man, we feel ya. So it's more expensive. Like, it's so fucking, like, it really is just not reading the room.
The messaging was rough.
Yeah, it's not reading the room at all.
Yeah, this is what it says on the PlayStation blog. So it's the global economic environment is a challenge. It's a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We are seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. Based on these challenging economic conditions, we have made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price of the PS5 in these markets.
Suck a dick.
Yes. That's rough.
Yeah, so it's like now it's gone up $50, and every PS5 you open has just a picture of Jim Ryan holding a controller poorly and giving the finger in the other hand. He's just that kind of guy. All right. Jumping to the next bit. So Discord integration, Max. Now, we've talked about on the show before, a good hunk of times, about how Sony threw some money at Discord. Yeah, it's still not on the PS5 yet, or PlayStation at all. But Sony will allegedly be bringing full Discord integration, Max. Not this fucking weird app shit. Including voice chat to the PS5 in the quote, coming months. This follows Xbox's manufacturer Microsoft beating PlayStation to the punch, despite the latter investing in the social media platform, as we discussed earlier. According to Xputer, that's a good name for a company, reporter Tom Henderson, citing sources who previously leaked the DualSense Edge, which we'll get to shortly, the integration has been in the, quote, quality assurance phase for the past couple of months, end quote, with progress reportedly going very well. Henderson reports that the functionality could be added as part of the next milestone firmware update after version 6.0, which is currently being beta tested. Due out in mid-September, version 6.0 includes requested features like game library folders and 1440p output. Now, Max, you use Discord a lot. We're using Discord to record right now.
Yeah, we are. So, like we said, we've spoken about this a lot, and I think it was the back end of last year that Sony threw some money at Discord, and Jim Ryan's like, "Yep, it'll be coming early 2022.
Bow-bow.
Yeah,
Due to financial markets, whatever, you know.
we missed the buzzer on that one, unfortunately. If they can get this out by the end of the year, that'd be great, because so many games are doing multi-platform, cross-platform play,
Yep.
all of that stuff. Most in-game chat functionalities are absolute hot garbage.
Yeah.
And everyone uses Discord. If we can get native Discord on PS5 and I can just open a Discord chat, as long as I don't have to use my fucking smartphone to set up the chat first.
Yeah, like I
want a literal Discord app on my PlayStation 5.
And the thing that I argued at the time when Microsoft announced that they were getting their partial integration, I think that was the answer. Because remember, you were like, why the fuck did they get it first? I'm like, that's why. Because it's partial. Like, they're like, well, we can flip that quicker because there's less work for us to do. But if you're doing full, like, if you have access to all of Discord's features on your PS5, that is a substantial amount of effort to get together. Especially, we know PlayStation has shitty keyboards and whatnot, and a big hunk of what Discord is, aside from its voice and video chat, is its text. It's forum-based discussion. So there's a couple different things to consider when building the app. So I understand why it's taking a little bit longer. But because like I know you have a voice chat party that you and the crew frequent currently. I had to mute notifications because I stopped giving a shit that you or someone joined at 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, great, go you.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
the PlayStation 5 party system's fine, but like I said, now that more and more games are going cross-platform, just the in-game chat functionality for most titles is just hot garbage.
Yeah.
And being able to just use Discord will make life so much easier for a lot of people.
Yeah. But it'll be really cool using Discord in VR in possibly early 2023.
Yeah. So, obviously earlier this week, as you alluded to, Sony showed off the PSVR 2 and said it is coming early 2023. However, the PlayStation VR 2 headset will be playable for the first time at Tokyo Game Show 2022. On the show floor, it has been confirmed. Attendees can sample the next-gen device through a Resident Evil Village demo, with the Japanese showcase taking place from the 15th to 18th of September this year. This will be the very first time PSVR 2 has been playable publicly. The demo will deliver, quote, the ultimate immersion in a demo based around Castle Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. For their troubles, players will be handed a clear file set based on the game and upcoming remake Resident Evil 4. Quote, this will be the first opportunity for PlayStation users to experience PlayStation VR 2. Please visit the Tokyo Game Show 2022 Capcom booth. Sony has confirmed PSVR 2 will launch in early 2023.
I just had a moment because I just had a thought process.
Did it hurt?
It did. You know what's in 40 you know what's in 40 days, Max? At time of recording. PAX Australia.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I went hands-on way pre-release on the PSVR 1 at PAX Australia. So, would that be there? It's certainly possible. Is it safe with COVID? No. But if it's there, I'm going to fucking play it. Like, I'm going to pull all the possible strings that I can. I'll ride all the coattails. I'm going to put the fucking headset on. I want to play with it. And same as, like, the Capcom, like, because, you know, Capcom previously have had Resident Evil playable. They had the really cool setup for Resident Evil Remake 2, for the 2 remake. They had a really cool setup for 7, Biohazard. So they had that playable in VR 1 year, which is also really cool. So I don't think PlayStation have confirmed their presence at PAX Australia yet. Like everyone that's listed so far is sort of your major publishers and independents, but neither Microsoft or PlayStation have said they're coming out yet.
I actually haven't looked yet.
Yeah, well, if you look over like player2.net.au or well-played.com.au, they do have articles listing the companies that will be there. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm hoping this means we can go hands on. And I'm gonna if it is available, I'm gonna make it happen. I will find a way. I will kiss all the hands. I will shake all the babies. I will do what I can because I got to get that fucking thing on my head. But yeah, so it was a random drop. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night or something real weird. Like a lot of PlayStation's social media just started posting pictures of the headset going early 2023. And I was like, damn, that seems a little bit weird to drop just on a socials, but like that's
some Valentine's Day VR.
Yeah, Sony's interesting strategies. But look, one of the other things that dropped this week from a cool tech perspective is PlayStation, and they're on the edge of glory. About 6 years too late. A new page on the official PlayStation website has revealed what buyers of the PS5 DualSense Edge controller should expect to receive once it's out. Max, you'll be asking the question though.
This was announced at Gamescom, by the way. Let's just preface that.
Preface that.
That was the biggest announcement at Gamescom for PlayStation.
So, Max, I hear you asking, Ryan, what is the PS5 DualSense Edge? I'm like, why the fuck are you asking me, Max? You wrote the news doc. But just in case you've forgotten, PlayStation are finally releasing their own first-party manufactured Elite controller, essentially. So the controller will come with it's a standard DualSense essentially, but it's got removable sticks, I think, or at least like buttons on the front. It's probably heavier. Like, I've only really shown like a render video of it. There's not a whole lot to get excited about. There's back buttons, there's extra front buttons. My apologies. I don't know. There's a couple different things.
I am kind of bummed out that it's only 2 back paddles, not 4.
Yeah, but there's back paddles, but then there's little triggers under the thumbsticks.
I didn't say that.
We'll pull up the picture. I could be.
Let me pull up this thing.
Yeah. All right. So according to this, Sony's making the purchase a one-stop shop for all things customizability.
No, my dude, you can see the back panels from the front.
Oh, well, that makes more sense. By housing the components in a carrying case and offering multiple variants of each tool. So very similar to that of the Elite and the Xbox Elite and Xbox Elite 2. It does come, everything's in the case all nicely. It comes with a controller, a lovely braided cable, 2 standard stick caps, 2 high dome stick caps, or replaceable thumbsticks, very similar to the Elite. Almost identical to the Elite, actually. 2 half dome back buttons, 2 lever back buttons, a connector housing, and the carrying case. Now, one of the things, the carry case also charges the fucking thing, which is kind of cool. So the page confirms that the stick modules can be purchased separately, opening up the possibility of Sony offering further customization options, other colors, for example, or pieces themed around specific games, which would be cool. You'll also be able to charge the controller while it's in the carrying case, and the connector housing ensures the braided USB cable will never suddenly fall out of its socket. As of yet, there is no release date or expected price. Max, I'm seeing at least $250 for this. Australian.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, my guess is it'll cost about double the price of a DualSense.
Now, as you are someone who loves themselves a SCUF controller, I myself have touched a couple of different PS4 fancier, higher level. Like I did the Thrustmaster eSwap Pro. I dicked about with the Razer Raiju. Max, you've handed a couple of different SCUFs, but I would still argue, even as much as I love the DualSense, one of the best feeling controllers is the Xbox Elite. It's heavy in a good way. It's metal in terms of it's a fucking brilliant controller. And if you can give me a DualSense with all the benefits of the Elite, you've got my attention. But once again, I don't really use back pedals. I don't really use all that sort of stuff. But like, does this get your nips hard? Is this?
It'll depend. Hopefully someone I know will get one, so I can have a play around with it before I commit to the 200 and whatever price point it's coming in at.
Got it.
Because granted, that's roughly how much I spent on my SCUF controller for my PS4. But the reason why I went for that option as opposed to like just getting the back paddle attachment that PlayStation brought out or any of those other controllers is they were shaped at the time like an Xbox controller.
Yes.
And I like that shape more than what I like.
The 360 controller specifically, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I like that shape more than what I like the dual shock at that time. I prefer that feel. But like looking at this is essentially just. It looks like it's kind of still an attachment in a way.
It looks like they've pulled out a bottom part and they've built a bottom component.
Yeah,
and it's a matte. It's like fucking piano black. That's gonna get fingerprints instantly.
Which is fine. It'll all like. And the other thing is, I was talking to the guys over at News to Review, and I said the only real I don't use I don't miss those back paddles anymore because I only really use them when playing first-person shooters, and I don't play a lot of them anymore. So I don't see myself actually needing this anymore because I'm not the gamer that I used to be.
I was going to say, but yeah, is the reason you're not playing first-person shooters as much is because you don't have those back paddles? Like, would this be enough
first-person shooters have just gotten bad.
They have gotten bad. They haven't been very good.
And I've gotten bad at them. I've got like old man reflexes now. It's like,
man, welcome to
can't
my pain
compete
from
with
about
like
6 years ago.
I can't compete with the 12-years that have all got issues.
Which is part of the reason I want to play Fortnite, but also I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it so hard.
Yeah,
because some little prick's gonna beat me because they don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm expecting mid 200s plus. Wouldn't surprise me if it was like 280, 279. Or something.
Hopefully they get them out this year. I guess.
But going from the discussion of what the PS5 just bumped up to, and knowing PSVR 2's around the corner as well, it makes you very worried about how much that's going to cost now. It's just gonna get real expensive real fast. I'm single income, man. I'm poor as fuck. How am I gonna get the things that these luxury boutique items that I want?
Luxury boutique items. Speaking of luxury boutique items that are gonna break the bank, let's talk all the PlayStation related announcements coming out of Gamescom opening night live. Dead Island 2 still exists apparently and will be out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in February of next year.
Because who the fuck was still asking for that?
Hogwarts Legacy showed off a new trailer all about the dark arts, and there was some collector's edition with a floating wand over a book. It's like $300 apparently.
Did you get it?
No, not spending $300 on a floating wand.
Yeah, but you are like you are majorly gay for Harry Potter though.
Look, as someone who has not next to me for some reason, there must be somewhere else. I have 2 Harry Potter wands.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been to Harry Potter World. I've got a Harry Potter tattoo. I'm a big fan of that.
So then why are you not like instantly jumping on these collectors?
I'm not a collector's edition guy. It's true. I don't.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point that you don't own any. I don't think.
Yeah. No. I think literally the last collection edition that I purchased was Dark Souls 2, and that game was atrocious, and I regretted that purchase.
Burnt you real quick.
Yeah, it burnt me real quick. Speaking of Souls-like games, Lies of P got a new gameplay trailer. The Pinocchio-based Souls-like
I've heard about this because like I haven't watched a trailer or anything. I've been really kind of distant from Gamescom. But
rad.
Apparently, it's rad. Yeah, it's like real weird looking.
Yeah. Atlas Has Fallen is a new game coming
is it Atlas
PS5
Fallen or Atlas Has Fallen like Olympus Has Fallen?
It's Atlas Fallen. This is coming from the dev team behind The Surge.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to brag about.
Lords of the Fallen 2.
The Lords of the Fallen.
Hang on. I was getting there. Lords of the Fallen 2 has decided that The Lords of the Fallen is a better title.
Layers of Fear.
That will be coming to PlayStation 5 at some point. There was just an announcement trailer with no release date. Gotham Knights has decided to come out 4 days earlier than anticipated. It is now releasing on the 21st of October.
Hey, it's already gold. Why hold it back?
Sonic Frontiers has decided to ruin Skull and Bones' day by releasing on November the 8th.
Oh man. I so hope Sonic Frontiers does better than Skull and Bones. That would be funny. No
one's buying either of those games because God of War is allegedly coming out the day after.
Fuck you with your allegedly.
Dune Awakening will be an open world MMO based on the film. No release date was given, just an announcement trailer.
The trailer looks really good, especially with this big sand butthole. Like, it looks good. Not for me.
Phantom Hellcat is a new game from the All In team, known for Tools Up.
Now that's a good claim to fame. I fucking love Tools Up.
Yeah, I know. That's what I put in there for you.
Yeah.
Quantic Dream will be publishing Parallel Studios' Under the Waves next year.
Well, this is fascinating because Quantic Dream, after Detroit, they essentially were like, and all their controversies or whatever, they're like, we're gonna start publishing for a little bit,
Yeah.
and they're working on their Star Wars game as well. So it's great. It's another way to make some money come in, especially as they seem to not want to like after the troubles with PlayStation. I have a feeling they don't want to connect themselves to a publisher anymore. So they're like, well, rather than be burned by someone, we'll just do it ourselves.
Tales from the Borderlands is coming October 21st.
Isn't it like all new Tales of the Borderlands or something?
Yeah, so it's a new Tales of the Borderlands with all new characters. Looks cool.
Yeah.
Goat Sim 3 gameplay trailer was released, and that's looking as bonkers as one would expect from a goat simulator.
Good to know. Good to know.
Park Beyond got a new trailer, which will be out on PlayStation 5 next year. Callisto Protocol got another gameplay trailer if you're a fan of the Outer Space Spooks. Moving Out 2, another big one, will be hitting PlayStations next year.
Which is fantastic. So SMG, a studio based out of here in Australia, best known for Death Squared as well as Moving Out. Yeah, I'm very excited for Moving Out too. I think that would be awesome.
Kojima now has a Spotify podcast.
Yeah, it's English and Japanese, which is interesting.
English and Japanese.
Does not speak English that well.
Keely's part of it.
Yeah, so the idea is
Keely just comes in and does like some new stuff, and it's kind of like an industry podcast, which is cool.
There's gonna be a lot of like interviewing people, talking about all these buddies. Like, hey, it's Guillermo del Toro, and it's two people that speak English poorly on a podcast. Can't wait. But no, the idea is it's just got him talking about movies and philosophy and books and art and just Kojima to be Kojima. So for those that are big Kojima marks, it's probably a good little space to check out.
I'm gonna have a listen. Check it out. Yeah. And lastly, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a new asymmetrical multiplayer game which is doing 7v3. And it will be based on the 1988 movie.
I was going to say, that sounds like a movie, and because
it's one of those B-grade horror films from memory.
How has Gamescom been for you so far, Max?
It's been pretty cool. I've enjoyed what I've seen. I know this is a PlayStation show, but some of the Microsoft announcements were really cool. There's a new game coming from Squanch with animated talking weaponry, which looked fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that looked fucking weird. That was pretty fun.
Lies of P's coming day one Games Pass.
Which is interesting because apparently it won the award for like best PlayStation game, and it's coming straight to day one of Games Pass. That's bold strategy. But one thing I did notice, Max, and that you didn't fucking put on this list, and I'm only deeply offended. You did put two other games that I enjoy, so thank you. But you didn't talk about AEW Fight Forever. It was there, playable for the first time on the floor. I saw photos of it. It's there. It's in.
I don't recall ever seeing AEW at Gamescom.
Well, you're fucking wrong because they had a ring set up and everything. Evil Uno of the Dark Order was there. I want to play it. I got to play it. And how dare you not cover that? I totally know why you wouldn't have done it because I need to talk about wrestling more in this podcast. But yeah, that's a big standout.
It also just wasn't in the list that I saw of released stuff. So
no one cares.
My bad, I guess. Yeah.
One thing that no one seems to care about: the Embracer Group just buying more things. So the Embracer Group has completed its acquisition of Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and various other assets. According to a press release from the Swedish juggernaut, quote, all conditions for the transaction, including regulatory approvals, have now been fulfilled and the transaction may be completed. But the check bounced. No, it didn't. It concludes, quote, Embracer has therefore today completed the acquisition. In addition to the aforementioned studios, Embracer Group will also gain access to the catalogue of IPs, including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more. Quote, further information will be given by the companies and Embracer Group at a later date, end quote. The press release concludes. So, Max, the ever-growing IP conglomeration acquisition of Embracer continues. This is something we knew about already, but it's finally coming together, and the deal has been done. That's what there is to say.
Also on the rumor mill, earlier this week, coming from USA Today, reporting on the word from GLHF sources, according to the report, Amazon was set to buy EA later that day. In an update from USA Today, their original report has been updated. The publication now says that GLHF, a Swedish games media company, cited, quote, unnamed and unvetted sources, and the initial claim that Amazon would announce its purchase of EA has been removed completely. Effectively, the rumor has been reduced to fuck all.
Cool. So that probably it was probably
I think
Gary Whitta again.
Schreier, I know Schreier also took to Twitter. He's like, yeah, I've messaged some of my people, and apparently no one at EA knows that they're being bought. So like, no, probably not happening.
It's the jokes that I was making on the day, and was the idea that, you know, having fucking EA and Amazon come together like as some sort of, you know, a fucking megazord of treating their people poorly. You know, that's pretty impressive. The only way it would have gotten better is if, in comes Ubisoft as the Green Ranger with their friggin' mouth trumpet flute of sexual harassment in the workplace. And they sort of, you know, get to be this awesome group of ultimate company to hate. You know, it's pretty impressive. Like, EA has won, like, the worst company ever for, like, a handful of years in a row. Amazon's getting pretty up there. So, like, why compete with the fellow worst company when you can just become the worstest company? It's a good effort. But yeah, Amazon, says the Puck. That's... But it's funny because it all happened within like 2 hours. Everyone's like, it's nothing.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was a whole trip. What do you think about this, Max? Like, obviously we talk about our different, you know, extra. No, Andrew Tate is fucking Zordon in this scenario. But what was your thought process as you see the idea of Amazon and EA almost merging?
It was like, damn, now I have to give my money to Bezos every time I want to play a fucking sports game. Yeah. It's literally the only thing that went through my mind. I'm just like, I don't really care. For the most part, I don't really.
Yeah, EA as a company doesn't really interest me.
Yeah.
There's nothing they do that gets me excited. But like from an acquisitions, you know, conglomeration thing, I'm like, everyone, just please go back to last week. I got real ranty about last week. It was pretty intense. Yeah, like there's like in the chat that Max and I have, there was the picture of there's that guy, there's that woman just yelling in his ear hole. Apparently that was the entire of last week's episode, which also checks out.
You can skip the first dot point in the quick bits because I covered that.
Oh, good. Well, in that case, quick bits. The Game Awards will be making their return on December 8th. Get excited.
The 9th Games Awards show.
Yep. So just expect a lot of marketing from Tencent and their alternate company, Level Infinite. So, you know, it's good to know that Jeff Keighley is also being purchased by Tencent. I'm sure you'll find that he is, in fact, acquired by Tencent shortly. PS5's Knights of the Old Republic remake has been handed off to a different studio as it was Aspyr, but now it's going to Saber Interactive, which is great because Saber Interactive...
They're both owned by Embracer.
They're both owned by Embracer, which is...
Yeah, so apparently what happened is a ton of higher-ups from Aspyr got fired over the showcase of...
So essentially what happened is they... this is from the rumor mill anyway, all the sources. Is that they went to show off the slice of the game and, hey, here's what we've been working on for the last couple of years. Here's Knights of the Republic. And the response was, what the fuck? You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And you are no longer working on this game. So
it's the European division of Saber Interactive.
Yeah, Saber are fucking good, and they have been doing good work for a while, so it would make total sense. But Buddy, just to clarify on the Game Awards, they've jumped in and said we have 15 minutes of awards and 2 hours of ads, exactly. And Dwayne the Rock Johnson will be there again to be like, hey, here's my Black Adam trailer or whatever. Kojima will rock up and fart, and everyone will get really excited. It's a bunch of different things. Sifu is getting a new update this week, including new gameplay modes to tweak health, damage, and structure. Cool, for those still playing Sifu. Netflix's Resident Evil series will not be renewed for a second season. Good, I heard it was a hot trash. I tried to watch 10 minutes of that fucking thing, and I was like, ugh! so I stopped watching, and so that's good. Aloy has been confirmed for the Horizon and Netflix show. That's pretty cool. And one thing that was mentioned in the chat we haven't discussed, originally PlayStation exclusive Death Stranding, speaking of Kojima, will no longer be exclusive to the PlayStation and or PC, as it was published by 505 Games. It's now coming to Games Pass on the PC. So not console, just Games Pass PC. So that's fucking cool. Like, well, look, as for me, it's sold as meant.
Not the director's cut. It's just the standard version, not the director's cut.
You don't get whatever the director's cut had. So this is the interesting thing.
The director's cut had like the racing car track.
Yeah, it totally did. That and more stun guns, apparently. This is interesting for me. And Buddy brings this up in the chat as well. So they say, I cannot wait to see the outlets that hated and dragged Death Stranding now that it's coming to Games Pass. Suddenly the game's going to get a bunch of praise just because it's on, because we have talked about this for a little while as well, with this concept that there seems to be this very PlayStation directed fucking front at the moment on like games media as well as general social media. It's just everyone's pooping on PlayStation. And it's interesting that a game that was so divisive and got so shat on, like Death Stranding, I can only imagine, I'm very curious to see if anyone picks it up on Games Pass on PC and reviews it or whichever, because I still get mad about Power Up here in Australia, giving it a fucking 3. No, 2. It was a 2. That game is not a 2. There are so many worse games. It
was our game of the year.
Fuck you. Like, that game is great. You are just objectively wrong. Objectively wrong. Because 5, if you're using a scale of 0 to 10, 5 is down the middle. A 2 should mean the game is fucking unplayable. You are wrong. Like, objectively, there is nothing about that game that is a 2. It's just not possible. It plays well. The story's incredibly competent. It's actually brilliant, but I'm talking about it from if you want to bring it down to its points, game plays well. It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. The story is objectively good. It is entertaining. Like, yes, there's none of that ongoing gameplay loop, but I'm sorry. And it was Buddy's game of the generation. So the fuck. But I'm very curious to what people think about it now. But as we talked about, the idea of what were PlayStation exclusives coming to PC. Death Stranding, it didn't sell that many units at launch anyway. There's no more to be sold on PlayStation. It apparently did pretty good on PC. Why not put it on Games Pass? It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It just means that more people get to experience it, which I can only hope changes that collective narrative. Everyone goes, this game's really fucking good. Because, if it's free, quote unquote, people will be able to they'll be more open to battle through that slow slog at the start. But I think the slow slog is one of the best parts of the game.
Upcoming titles this week, Ryan. Coming out on the 30th of August, we have Commandos 3 HD Remaster for PS4, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed PS5, PS4, Dusk Diver 2 PS5, PS4, F1 Manager 2022 PS5, PS4, Inscription PS5, PS4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Cowabunga Collection PS5, PS4, and Tinykin PS5, PS4. On the 31st of August, we have Phantasy Star Online 2 for PlayStation 4. 1st of September, we have Chenzo Club PS4 and The Mysteries of Ranko Tagawa Murder on the Marine Express PS5, PS4. And lastly, 2nd of September, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R PS5, Lego Brawls PS5, PS4, Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness PS4, and lastly, The Last of Us Part 1 PS5.
Yeah, there's look, I know I got Buddy in the chat and a friend of the show, Simon Blackbird. Take my tone. I know they're both really real into the F1s at the moment, so possibly F1 Manager might be a good game for them. Inscription, I've heard nothing but good things about. I know you've sang its praises. The old TMNT games are pretty tight. Pardon me, but yeah. I guess
the big one, obviously.
The last one is obviously the big one here. We can't talk about it, but yeah, like what things you and I are discussing, like we're very lucky in the position that we are for the content that we make, is that we normally get to play games that we want to, and we can't wait because like they're games we're excited for. So we were discussing whether, because Saints Row is out and apparently it's trash, but I really want to play it even if it's trash, because I haven't played a game that's like, you know, when we do our game of the year and like we're almost in September, so like I always kind of get hard at the end of the year, like what's my worst game of the year, because I only get to pick games that I want to play, so I don't really get disappointed. But
Saints Row could make that.
Saints Row could be that list. It could be its default winner. I want to check it out. I think I'm just going to do it. I'm going to pull the pin. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it for the PopC account, so you and I can both play it and hate on it. Yeah. You should see if you can get a review copy of Saints Row. We did. We tried. But it's one of those things where I'm yet to actually know any content creator, so any individual that's been categorized as a content creator to be provided a code. But I know media's had it. And I imagine they're like, it's interesting. Like everyone's reviewing it so harshly, yet they have forking out money to people to promote it. So the same people that went, this game fucking sucks, suddenly they're doing streams promoting the game. That's weird. But yeah, we've tried to go the review copy path. No success. Okay, cool. So Max just messaged me and goes, hey, we know X person that has it. I don't know whether they got a code for it or whether they...
I think so.
Yeah, but they're a relatively proficient and getting... Not proficient, that's what I'm looking for. Prolific. They're a prolific content creator in the space, so it makes sense where we are fucking weirdos who sit in this weird middle ground, so... You know, and I guess if anyone knows what we do, they'd understand that we would try to be a bit more critical and do that more reviewy approach. So we would likely poop on it.
Buddy Watson, life too short to consume bad media,
which is probably a good idea. If anything, that life is too short to consume bad media. So let's wrap up this episode now, so no one has to sit through this bad media too much longer.
Well, on that note,
sick burn on ourselves.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Check out our socials. Discord, Instagram, and Twitter are the best ways. Our Facebook does exist.
We'll get it back.
All those links can be found in the description below.
But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can by telling your friends, telling your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. Hey, no, we make shit. We make fun of our Patreon, but without that Patreon, we wouldn't be able to buy Saints Row and poop on it. So there you go. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.